Hello everyone. Alright, let's go again, shall we?
Okay. Yeah.
Hello everyone.
Wait.
Oh man.
What? Hello everyone, welcome to Lay It Out, the No Bullshit Science podcast.
With extra bullshit.
I'm Curie.
I'm Alice.
And she's Demelza.
Woo woo. So we decided today to tell a story about Demelza's life because we realised that, you know, in this part, me and Curie talk about our really interesting, exciting lives. And Demelza never gets to contribute. And she told us a story that we feel we just cannot not share.
It's amazing.
It would just be wrong to not share it with the world. So Demelza was walking down the street the other day, and a bird, what kind of bird?
Magpie.
A magpie. Saw Demelza walking down the street and decided
to say hi.
to say hello. And Demelza, while walking down the street, decided to say hello back.
But it wasn't even like the bird squawked and you go, oh, hello, birdie. Apparently she went, meh.
So she squawked back. It was funny the first time around. It really lost momentum there.
It did. Also, it was funny when Demelza told it because she was actually embarrassed. She was like embarrassed while telling it, which made it funnier.
Yeah, and then when you didn't realise that she squawked rather than spoke, that made it funny too.
Yeah.
Okay, well, anyway, I hope someone out there might have laughed. Moving on.
So how are you, Alice?
I mean, yeah, I'm fine.
Apart from, you know, shamed by your shitty storytelling.
I mean, I've been working on this for pretty much my whole life, and I just haven't gotten any better at telling stories.
You usually are quite a good storyteller.
Do you
Although
think?
your stories are usually like
A bit detail heavy.
2 minutes too long.
Yeah. I agree. Sometimes, if I'm really concentrating, I'm able to be really concise. But I have to concentrate really hard.
But like
So hard, sometimes I feel nauseous. So, yeah.
that's not natural.
I'm very detail orientated, and a lot of people just don't get that.
You are. You have quite OCD tendencies.
I do. Let's call a spade a spade.
I've never heard that before.
Have you not?
No.
So I'm pretty sure it's quite common.
Have you heard it before?
It kind of took momentum in my group of friends because one of our friends used it in some context. I think he might have been referring to a girl that one of my other friends got with or something.
Okay, this does not sound like it came from a nice place.
No, I think one of them was denying getting with said girl.
If I'm calling a girl a spade.
No.
Oh.
It means like, let's call a spade a spade. It means like, tell the truth.
Oh.
Like, let's be honest.
I think you guys made this up.
No, we didn't.
I think you did.
Did you say you've never heard it either?
No, and I think I thought it meant something else. Well, like
So
when
you were just
said-
supposed to shake your head there. Why did you talk?
Shit,
You
sorry.
failed the test.
No, you asked me a question.
You were just supposed to shake.
Silent Demelza just gasped. Call a spade.
It has a
Okay.
Wikipedia page.
Okay. Shh. Ding ding ding. Silent Demelza fact. Give me the phone.
Call a spade has a Wikipedia page.
To call a spade is a figurative expression. It is also referred to as let's call a spade, not a gardening tool, which refers to calling something as it is. This is a terrible fucking sentence. That is
I've never heard the gardening tool edition. That just is ridiculous.
That is by its right or proper name without beating about the bush. Lots of garden-themed phrases in here.
Metaphors, similes. No, I don't know.
Being outspoken about it, truthfully, frankly, and directly, even to the point of being rude, blunt, or rude. And the sentence is still not finished. And even if the subject is
It
considered
continues.
coarse, impolite, or unpleasant. Full stop.
Oh.
Okay, fine. I take it back.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So did you have a nice weekend?
I didn't do anything. Do you know what? And also, I had a 4-hour nap on Saturday.
At a really unwise time of
Yeah,
day.
I had a 4-hour
She had a
nap.
4-hour nap at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Who does that?
I felt good afterwards,
Who
though.
does that?
I think I really needed it.
Yeah, but then you just really needed a good night's sleep.
Yeah, so I've been getting up at 5:30 in the morning a lot at the moment, so I can go to the gym before work. I'm becoming a new person. I've never been a morning person, and now I might be a morning person.
It might be forcing herself to be.
I'm more of a.
It's like it's not so much a butterfly from a cocoon as a mole like scrambling out of a hole.
That's so rude.
You get my meaning, though.
Can't believe you just called me a mole.
You're forcing yourself to come up from the dark.
I mean, you could have said, I'm like, what other cute animals are nocturnal? I don't know, like a...
Oh, those tiny little monkeys with the big eyes that people have.
They're
as
not
pets.
cute!
They are.
They're the monkeys that everyone
Jamel's
thinks...
agrees that they're
Wait,
cute.
are they not the ones that everyone thinks are ugly? The eyes?
No.
Bush baby.
Oh, okay, they're cute.
They're tamarins,
Oh.
terrapins, tarsiers.
Isn't a terrapin a turtle?
It is. It's a tarsier. They're one of those animals that's like...
Alice, this is not cute.
They're endangered because people keep forcing them to be their pets. And they're nocturnal.
Oh, they
and
are cute. Okay.
It hurts them to be awake during the day.
Oh.
So it's really cruel. I went to a sanctuary in...
Well, talk about lowering the tone of this conversation.
I mean, that's what I'm
Fucking
here
hell.
for, eh?
No, but anyway, so yeah. So I think I'm becoming a morning person. But in the transition to morning person, I'm becoming a no sleep at all person. But I think it's a transition phase.
So really, you're becoming an insomniac.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. That sounds fun.
Just going back to my roots.
Well, I started running this morning
Oh, yeah.
in my attempt to do a half marathon that I'm not going to tell anybody about.
So Alice and Haya,
Apart from on the podcast.
Haya, who is our sleep expert, they're going on a mission together to do a half marathon soon. Which, if we have loads of fans by the time you do it, we could probably get loads of sponsors in.
If we have loads of fans by the time we do it, in comparison to all the fans we've gotten so far.
Yes, exactly. If
I think I jinxed myself because I was like, Curie's gonna burp loads. Where did that even come from? Oh Lord. Sorry, Mom.
Right, okay, well, on that note,
I'm drinking something fizzy, okay? It's fizzy.
it just came out of nowhere.
Oh, I can't even remember what we were talking about.
Running.
Oh yeah, I'm a runner now. So I ran for 18.
I don't think you can call yourself a runner when you've only run once. Although,
Okay.
yeah, you did a 9-minute mile, which is really good.
I did.
That's
And I
really
did
good.
2 of them.
That's really good.
And then I stopped.
I'm very impressed.
I was happy with myself.
Yeah.
And I felt a bit weird all day, but you know, it's like a good kind of weird.
I think that happens though after a new form. Oh,
Of
speaking of
exercise.
new form of exercise as well. So Alice came to the gym with me last week.
Oh, yeah.
And she did her first heavy lifting, power lift style based workout.
Yeah, and I'm only just about feeling normal again. Just
And
about.
she did, bearing in mind this was her first proper deadlifts with a proper bar, she was doing 50 kilo deadlifts for 10 sets, which is really good.
But I was rounding my back a bit. I learned that that's bad.
Yeah, her form needs a bit of work.
It does need work.
Yeah.
But we'll update you, don't worry.
Yeah. To introduce our guest.
Yes.
Yes. So this week we have one of my friends again. I've known him for the same amount of time that I knew Jamie from one of the very, very early episodes. This is my friend, Shaun. Hello.
Oh, hello.
You came in too soon. It's okay though. It's okay.
I'm so excited.
It's fine.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah,
Good.
not bad.
How did you find not talking in that beginning
It was
bit?
so difficult.
Oh my god, everyone says
Everyone
that.
says that.
It's
Yeah,
really
because
funny.
you guys are talking about really funny stuff, and I just want to like get involved. I feel like an outcast.
That kid that's forced to sit on like the
Yeah.
naughty step. I'm really intrigued about what you do because Curie was like, oh, so even though you guys have been friends for how many years?
Since we were 18. So
Has
8
it been
years.
that long?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You guys have 2 years until unending friendship.
What is that? How it
Yeah,
works?
if you know someone for 10 years, if your friendship lasts for 10 years, you'll always be friends.
Do you know what? I think me and Shaun have got there already, just from the fact that we've shared 5 birthdays in a row.
Guys.
Has it been 5?
Yeah.
In a row?
Yeah. So Shaun and I have now shared our birthday parties for 5 years because we were a week apart, and that was the best nights out of the
The
year.
best night
Everyone
by far.
agrees.
It was quite fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm really intrigued because after that 8 years of friendship and apparently, you know, it's going to persist forever, Curie actually doesn't know what you do.
No, I know
That
what
should-
he does. I know.
No, you admitted you don't know.
I know what the overarching title of what you do is, but I don't know specifically what you do or what your company does.
You should have the opposite reaction. She doesn't know. That means that it's so like boring that it's just she doesn't care.
But I'm curious. I
I
like
mean-
knowing.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
need to know.
All right.
Okay, tell me, quick.
Basically, I'm a financial accountant. One exam left until I'm chartered.
Curie, stop being rude.
Fuck you, Curie.
So you were saying one exam.
One exam until I'm chartered accountant.
Oh shit!
So excited.
What
I
does
have
it
a few
mean?
friends doing that.
What
too,
does it mean to be a chartered accountant?
Just means you get more money, basically.
Oh, and does
Like-
that? Are you more
Yeah,
I'm guessing
more
you're more
employable,
employable if you've
definitely,
done
yeah.
an exam for it.
Yeah.
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 So I used to always get really confused because the only kind of chartering I knew about. I'm not going to tell you what age I was when I believed this, but like like a chartered flight. So I used to think that chartered accountants, were accountants for flights. Because there's this really big building beside my uni, and I've just given away that I used to think this when I was in uni. But there's this really big building beside my uni that was called Chartered Accountants. Like it was like a union for like all the chartered accountants in Dublin.
If it makes you feel better, oh god, this is actually really embarrassing.
Go on.
I thought that Pakistan was a place in India. Like I thought it was like a city in India.
Curie?
And then
Oh.
and no, that's why I never understood it, why they all hated each other. But then I was like, oh, maybe it's like a thing how people in England hate Londoners because they think we're really rude or something. And then I was watching TV.
It's a bit more than that.
Yeah, I was watching TV and there was a cricket match of India versus Pakistan. And I
Oh
was
my
like,
God.
how does this work? Are they the same?
You're like, what's going on?
Yeah, and then I found out that's not true.
I mean, you learn something new every
Yeah.
day.
There are probably worse things. I can't think of any.
I
but
know.
There are probably.
I knew a girl who once thought Europe was a place in England.
Oh,
That's,
sure.
That's bad.
You're one off of it. Or sorry, that girl off of Love Island thought that Brexit meant that we wouldn't have any trees anymore.
Yeah.
What? How do you get to that?
I don't know.
She didn't know Spain was in. She didn't really know what Europe was.
She didn't know what a belly button was either.
No.
What? What do you think that is? If you don't,
A
That
belly,
weird hole in your skin.
a belly hole.
did anyone used to pick their belly button and get like the little bits out?
Used to.
Oh. Grim.
I never did that. No, never.
No.
No, never.
I actually don't think I've ever picked my belly button.
Oh, it's fun.
Well, you just admitted you still do
Well,
it.
no, I'll stick my finger in there to like clean it out, but there's never
Oh,
anything
that's
in
just
there.
for like the lint.
Yeah, but I don't really get lint in there.
When you say lint, what do you mean? Like
bits,
fluff?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
bits of fluff.
Okay.
No, but I'm
Interesting.
talking like stuff, like
Uh-huh.
bodily things. When when you're
Ew.
young
Boys are so disgusting.
and you
Yeah,
like proper
boys are
getting
gross.
in there, and
Just
then
to, like,
Did
dig.
it
it's just
smell?
like a little.
Did you smell it?
I can't. How do you? How?
No, your
Would you
fingers.
I never
Ew.
actually did, but I don't think it would smell. Would it smell?
But like, it's probably okay. No, this is going to a weird
Yeah,
place.
do
I'm
it.
not gonna say.
I really
Say it.
want it.
I'll
was-
cut it out if you want me to.
About to say like it's like the closest to inside you that you'd get.
That's not true.
No,
yeah, I
you
know
can
it's
get
not.
away.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's why I didn't want to go there.
It's like, well, I can't believe you didn't smell
Now we're
it.
getting all weird.
I was young. I didn't think about
I
what I
always
was doing.
smell
I
things
was
that
just-
come from my body.
That's a bit weirder, I think.
Is
Why
it?
do you like stick your head down the toilet every
Well,
time?
no. But as in, like, that's
Like,
just-
do you smell your like earwax?
Oh no, I don't actually.
Yeah, so you
true.
don't. You think
But-
you do, but you don't.
But I don't expect earwax to have a smell.
No,
I bet it does.
It's like when
probably does.
have you ever like? No, this is really disgusting.
Yeah, you're.
Do
Where
it.
are you going?
Have you ever clipped your big toenail and then smelt it?
Ew,
Yeah.
no.
You can't not smell
Oh
it.
my God,
It's a really
no.
strong smell.
It smells bad.
No.
Yeah,
It
give
I've
it.
sounds
never done that.
Give it a
before.
sniff next time.
Even
It's-
like the nail clipper, like that smells like of something.
I don't think
know
mine
what it
does.
is.
No, give it a sniff.
Okay.
Have you
Okay.
ever done that?
I don't particularly want to.
No, give it a sniff next time.
Try it. It's weird though. It is only the big toe. All your
Yeah.
other toes are fine.
Yeah, I think it's the big toe. Just I guess it picks up the most shit.
This
Yeah,
is
true.
disgusting.
Sorry, I don't know how we got into talking about you being an accountant.
And then we're talking about smelly toenails.
Okay, so your job.
Oh yeah, accountant. But I'm not really an accountant at the moment. Basically, we're making like a new system for our company, and I'm like helping the developers like design it. Sort of.
So what's your
Oh.
company?
Oh, like I don't really. I know, but I don't really know. We're like a project. We're like a building consultancy like firm.
Okay.
So we tell people how to make buildings, but we don't actually make them.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you do like the costing and all that kind of thing?
Not really. Like
So-
my company's not an
Logistics?
accountancy. It's like a no. It's just like giving advice to. We just have loads of engineers that are really clever, and they build
Yeah.
designs in like CAD
So-
and stuff.
would it like someone, say a property developer would come to you and be like, we want to build this property on this land.
Yeah.
How do we go about it?
Yeah. So you see, I don't know if you guys, Jack?
Yeah.
I know you
He
do.
was on the podcast.
Okay, yeah. So what he does, my company, that's like
The
what we do.
highway engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just happen to be an accountant in that company.
Do you work for the same company?
No,
as
but it's
Jack?
basically the same thing.
Similar.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, great. Good to know. My curiosity has been, what would the word be?
Quenched.
Quenched. There we go.
Quenched, good.
Nice. So, what's your relationship with science? Maths is kind of a science. Did you have to do maths to be an accountant?
I think I went A in GCSE maths, and then that's the end of my qualifications. I failed on my A levels, so no, not really.
Did you?
Yeah.
Shaun.
It's right. I'm doing accountancy.
You're doing
that's
well
fine.
now.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I was just really lazy.
Yeah, and sometimes it's like when you're doing it for school, it's like, why am I doing this? Whereas like you're doing it for a reason now.
Yeah, like when you're doing it for money, you've got motivation.
Yeah, motivation. That's what you need.
Did you like it? Did you like science though at all?
Yeah, science is so cool.
Did you think that in school?
I did like the concept, but then when you're actually in the lesson and they're going through all these stupid things and you're like, I don't know what's going on. Like chemistry, and they've got all these drawings for like atoms, and I don't know. I mean, it's all just...
I do think there needs to be a bit of a shift in how fundamental things are taught.
See, I know where they're coming from, where you do need to know the basics.
No, but
they
I think
should do more applied.
I guess this would never be possible because the population is so large. But if there was a way that each schools can specialise in different ways that kids learn, then it would be really... But I guess you can only really have that in a super fancy private school where they can afford to do that. So, like, if you figure out that one child is a visual learner, or one child is audio learner, or one child learns from reading, and then you can sort of split them into these different pathways of learning.
Interesting.
But I mean, I would think that probably would only ever happen in a really expensive private school. Yeah.
I think I really wish that I did more science stuff at school. Like, science just seems like such a cool thing to be like working in.
I think it's cool now. I think it probably became cool when me and Curie started doing it. And Melza.
What was your favourite science at school?
I think, I don't know, I'd say physics, but that's just because now I think it would be my favourite. I can't remember what my actual favourite was.
I think I read somewhere that boys tend to be better at physics than girls.
Physics and maths.
Yeah. And boys are better at spatial problems, whereas girls are better at like more verbal reasoning and stuff. Yeah.
We should have done a survey of all of our guests and what they said their favourite.
Oh, that would have actually been really interesting.
Yeah, because then we could have maybe proven that and then published it in a journal. So,
should we talk about some science then?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm ready.
So we asked Shaun if there's anything in particular that he'd like to talk about, and Shaun had one word for an answer, and that was poo. So, thing is,
happens to be my area of expertise.
and we actually haven't talked about poo for quite a long time.
No, we haven't.
So we're going back to it.
Yeah.
If you don't like poo, then stop listening.
How can you not like poo?
I agree.
I think, Shaun, are you one of the founding members of the Poop WhatsApp
I am
chat?
the founding member.
Hang on, but is this just your group of friends, or is this like countrywide?
No.
Basically, we had a group on WhatsApp that was called like Pub Crawl. Someone made it. It didn't need to be made, and no one responded to the first like. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna turn this into something and just change the name Pub to Poop. And then that was history.
That's
basically.
history.
And then people started sending in pictures of their poo.
Yeah, it's so good.
It kind of is countrywide. Like, we have some of the people in it we're from Coventry now.
Yeah, we've got Jack's uni friends. He
Yeah.
invited them in. Yeah, it's good.
That was nice of you.
They've had some
Very
good
inclusive in the
contributions.
poop crawl.
Yeah. I'm currently the only female member of Poop Crawl.
Oh, that's impressive.
I don't think you've contributed, have you?
I've contributed once.
Oh.
Was it the green?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
And that's the only contribution I am ever going to make, because I actually feel quite uncomfortable about showing you my normal poo.
Why?
Yeah,
It's just weird. It's weird.
It's
We're
too
close, Shaun,
personal.
but we don't need to be that close.
So, I'm going first this week.
Go for it.
Here we
And
go.
by the way, guys, also, Alice has picked a really weird fucking paper, so...
Okay, can I just give context? So, pretty much every time I PubMed search, so that's where you go to look for papers and research and
Like
what the
science
latest...
Google.
Yes. Yeah, like science Google. Cool. So, go to PubMed and I type in fecal microbiota, which is what I researched. So that just means the bacteria in your poo. So fecal, poo, microbiota, bacteria.
Cool. Yep.
Yeah? Cool. So anytime I go and Google that, the first 5 papers will be like humans. And then a weird thing will start happening where dotted in between the human papers, there will be all these weird animals. Mm-hmm. And like ones I've never even heard of. And I'm just like, I'm reading it and the start of the title will be something really interesting. And I'm like, oh my God. And then it will get to crucian carp. And I'm just like, what the fuck is that? That's not a person. I think it's a fish. Do you know what it is?
Carp is a fish.
Yeah, carp. So a few of the others that I just decided to write a little list of ones that I came to today, before I go into why I chose this paper. So I got crucian carp was the first one. A Gottingen mini pig.
Cute.
That sounds so cool.
A rhesus macaque. The next one is marmoset.
I don't have a clue what any of these things are.
Monkey.
Monkeys. Those two are monkeys.
Yeah.
Rhesus macaques are how they discovered, blood types.
Yeah.
They discovered some blood types in a rhesus macaque. So you're either rhesus positive or rhesus negative because they discovered it in...
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Greater amberjack. What do you think that is?
I think it's a tiger.
It's a fish.
Oh.
And
Amberjack.
broiler chickens. Which
Broiler?
sounds broiler.
They sound like they're the
They
ones that you
sound
cook.
yummy.
Yeah, doesn't it sound a bit... What are they? Do you know? Yeah, they're just a brand of chicken.
It's really
Brand
good
of
to broil.
chicken.
A species.
Oh, it's any chicken that's bred and raised specifically for meat production.
Oh.
Oh, sorry, broiler chickens. Yeah.
I mean, they're just fulfilling their
And
life purpose.
I've seen other ones. It's like gorillas or cows, or sometimes it's just to do the research, and other times it's actually for the well-being of that animal.
Probably the weirdest animals in neuroscience are zebrafish, which are tiny, tiny fish, and C. elegans, which are little like microscopic worms.
See,
Elegans,
C. elegans.
also known, aren't they nematodes?
Yeah.
Yeah,
my
a
goodness.
nematode.
Nematode.
You'll know that
Is it
from The
nematode?
Simpsons.
It's a nematode.
A nematode. They say nematode in The Simpsons.
Is it a toad?
No, it's a little worm.
Like
Oh,
T
it's
O
just
D
this.
E.
Oh,
T O D E.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
If that means anything to you.
I mean, it means it's not a toad.
Cool. So basically, I get all these papers and I'm always like, cool title, and then I get to the animal and I'm like, ugh.
Well, what's wrong with the animals?
Well, it's not relevant to me if it's not a human.
Oh.
But anyway, so I've never read any of these papers. So then today, I was like, maybe I'll read one. So here we are. So, leeching. Oh, I'm gonna read the title.
I know. You briefed me.
I'll read the
I'm
title.
ready.
Yes. So, leaching of E. coli from sheep feces during simulated rainfall events.
Why? What? I have a few questions.
Okay,
for it.
Why
hit
are
me.
we leaching E. coli? E. coli's bad. If it's in
Yes.
the poo, just leave it.
Yeah.
Like, just keep it away. I don't
Yes.
want E. coli.
No.
And what was the second part?
From sheep feces during simulated rainfall events.
What the hell? Why do they need to be simulated rainfall? I don't
Why
get
don't
it.
they use real rainfall?
Yeah, just there's plenty of sheep in the rain,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, there's loads of sheep in Wales, and it rains in Wales all the time.
Yeah.
Wayne's in Rails.
Is that what I said?
There's a tongue
Sounded
twister
like
for
it.
you.
Rains in Wales.
So, I read on because I was, understandably so intrigued by that title, and found out a few things. So, you said there's loads of sheep in Wales.
Uh-huh.
There's more sheep in New Zealand,
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of sheep in New Zealand.
where this research was
So
done.
how come the Welsh have the nickname of being sheep shaggers but not the Kiwis?
I don't
Why
think
do
we
you
knew
always
about
insist
sheep.
on insulting an entire region of people?
Everyone knows.
In every podcast. So far, you've probably insulted both Indians and Pakistanis. And now the whole of Wales.
Everyone knows that in
This is the thing of all people in England not liking all the people in Wales.
in UK that the nickname for Welsh people is sheep shaggers. I mean, I love Welsh people. It's actually one of my favourite accents. I prefer it to the Irish accent.
Oh, controversial.
Do you know why? Because all my favourite bands as a teen were from Wales.
Oh dear.
So
I
all your crushes were
Demar's
Welsh.
a nose.
Oh.
One of them was Lost Prophets.
Are they Welsh?
Yeah.
Oh, I never knew that.
Is this how you got into the paedophile conversation before?
No.
Oh, Christ almighty.
But
don't
do you know
bring
what?
that
I
up.
used to have posters of Ian Watkins all over my walls.
That's
He
shocking
was
that
a
they're
tradition.
Welsh.
The Lost Prophets, Kids in Glass Houses were Welsh. Do you remember Kids in Glass Houses?
They're still great, I think.
Are
I haven't
they?
listened to
I
them.
thought you were going to say they're still Welsh. I was like, I'd imagine they still are.
And the Blackout, who are
They're still great.
Are they still a thing?
Yeah, I think
They're not
so.
a thing still.
Probably, they must be.
These all must be like in their approaching 40, which is a bit awkward.
For sure.
The Blackout.
Or at least 30.
That was the guy with the massive penis, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Big bulge.
Oh, God.
You know, I mean, we never saw
No,
the
you don't.
naked.
Yeah, you don't see the actual penis.
You
it was
just had-
that big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so shockingly big, and you just had to go to people and be like, look at Shaun Smith's bulge. It was insane.
Okay, interesting.
We'll put Shaun Smith's bulge on the Instagram.
Oh, will we? No, we won't, because now I'm in charge of it. Woo! So, hope you all liked our food post. Curie makes me hashtag laid out food, which I think is a really bad hashtag, but here we are.
Whatever.
So if anyone has suggestions for a better hashtag, email us.
Flay it out.
Please.
Do people
Oh my god, that sounds like torture. That reminds me of Game of Thrones. They used to flay everyone.
Oh, yeah.
The Boltons loved flay. So they just like peel all the skin.
Okay, right. Let's talk about sheep shit.
Okay, so basically what they said, the purpose of this paper was to understand the impact of sheep on water quality on the surface waters in New Zealand. And the reason this is so important is because in New Zealand there is 32.6 million sheep.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
That's like half the population of the UK, no?
So cool.
So that is 9 times the population of Ireland.
That's insane.
But I mean, I'm pretty sure in Ireland we've more cows than people. You know?
Oh.
So animals, it's like livestock. It's a bit different.
I
But
suppose.
yeah, so 32.6 million sheep. So and these 32.6 million sheep have a daily fecal output of 1 kilo each.
How much is the
Whoa.
daily fecal output of a human? Silent Demalza.
It ranges from nothing to
We'll get back to you.
So I first of all want to disclose that having read this paper, I do feel like I've decreased my reputation as a scientist somewhat just from reading it.
Wait, hang on. Let's not offend all the sheep, the eco-scientists.
You're going to talk to me about not
Yeah,
offending people.
you always have a go at me about offending groups of people. You're about to offend an entire field.
Yeah,
Okay,
sheeps are
I'm
important
sorry.
too.
I'm sorry.
Sheep's matter too.
Yeah.
Sheep lives matter.
128 grams.
A day.
Yeah.
That's nothing. I poo way more than that in a
I
day.
feel like also we're way bigger than sheep. I could lift a sheep. and
But
check
sheep
it.
eat all day. Like all
That's
they do
true,
is eat.
actually.
I mean,
they live
same
in
as
they live in
cows.
the life.
Yeah.
And it's all grass.
And it's all fiber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
128 grams. That's nothing. I suppose you're averaging between people that don't poo a lot and people that poo a lot.
That's generally
128
how it
grams
works.
is nothing though. 128 grams is the average. 128 grams is the average daily fecal output between me and us.
Let's not get back into this again. Moving on.
I want to know what that range is. Like what? 1 kg for you and a gram for you.
Roughly, yes, yeah, roughly. So anyway, back to the sheep. So yeah, they wanted to, because they had so many sheep, so they wanted to see what was going on. And so the first sentence was, the first sentence was, sheep feces are known to harbour a high concentration of microbial pathogens. So we all knew that already, didn't we?
Don't our feces host a high number of microbial pathogens?
I don't know what pathogen is.
No, not unless you're sick. Oh, pathogen. Okay, so you know the way I was speaking about bacteria earlier on.
Oh yeah.
So you've got good bacteria and you've got bad bacteria. Bad bacteria are called pathogenic bacteria. So that basically means they cause disease.
So like, I feel like pathogen is what they use to like justify why there's zombies in zombie films. Like a pathogen gets
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
so-
like something that causes disease. It doesn't. It might not only be a bacteria. It could be a virus or fungus. Can a protein be pathogen? Could be a pathogen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Protein.
Wait, so are they always bad?
Yes.
Pathogen is bad shit.
Pathogenic is always bad.
Okay.
It literally means disease causing in like Latin.
Okay.
Are you sure?
Maybe Greek. I don't know. It's always either Latin or Greek. Moving on from the Latin. So yeah. So obviously we all knew that. Also, another thing I learned quite early on in this paper is ovine means sheep.
Oh, I knew
Whoa.
I didn't know that.
It's like cows without a B.
Yeah, bovine.
That's so cool. But why? Why without the B?
I guess it's Latin
this.
again.
Maybe because they're smaller.
Mine is weird.
Everything's Latin.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe B in front of words in Latin just means it's big.
Yeah.
So whoever discovered cows was like, oh, that's a big sheep.
That's probably
Just walking through the field. I was like,
That's precisely how it went.
yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, we're so smart. Now we need to draw an important distinction between fresh feces and aged feces.
Gross.
I'm excited.
So the thoughts were that, like, you know, if a feces is aged, then there's no more bacteria because they die, essentially. So they were like, okay, well, maybe not as much E. coli come out of the aged feces as comes out of the fresh feces. The reason why they were investigating this is because when it rains, they thought that the rain would like leach all of the E. coli out of the feces, and then, you know, the way on like farmland and things, all the water that gets logged into the soil basically finds its way to the river,
Yeah.
or like the underground source of water. And they were like, oh shit, all of the E. coli from the sheep feces is going to get in there. So they wanted to investigate how much would actually get in.
I see. But are people actually getting E. coli, or are they just doing this just because they think that they might?
So interestingly, it did mention that during some heavy rainfall, so like, I don't know, like monsoon type of occasions of rainfall, that there was really bad breakouts of E. coli in the water supply because the water filtration plant like facility wasn't equipped to deal with the amount of E. coli that was then washed into the water because of all the sheep feces and the rain.
Damn.
Yeah. And being New Zealand, they're all very concerned about their outdoor activities. So
Very sweeping statement.
it's true. Any people from New Zealand that I've met are so into the outdoor things. Like, they'll be like, let's go for a walk, and you go on a 2-day hike. Which involves like cooking, killing and cooking your own food. They're so outdoorsy. I'm not just generalizing. Am I? No. Stop making me insult groups of people as well. So anyway, they literally were like, "What? This might make water." One of the justifying facts in this paper that they said was that might make waterways unsafe for recreational activities. You know, they're really concerned.
Make water what?
Waterways. So like rivers.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Rivers, lakes, ponds. Although ponds are probably a bit unsafe anyway.
How?
Ponds are definitely not places for activities.
Demelza looks pensive.
Goldfish watching.
There you go. There's an
Okay.
activity.
I mean,
Goldfish watching.
but the water quality is not an issue there, unless it's killing all the goldfish.
There you go. Okay, so the transport of microbes in general into rivers after heavy rainfall is quite well documented, but they wanted to see specifically what happens with E. coli in sheep feces.
I love how like in depth they go. They don't want any.
Yeah.
They don't want
They
anything
just
random.
want pure and simple E. coli, sheep feces, river, recreational activities. So ovine feces, so sheep poo, up to 21 days old, was subjected to simulated rainfall,
Wait, hang on. So
and the runoff was collected. You can go now.
nothing.
So
It's like 28, 21 days aged.
yeah,
Fine sheep.
sounds
Fine
delicious.
ovine feces.
yeah. So you want to know what they did? So they had a field full of sheep. Every time the sheep's pooed, they went out and collected the poo. They put it in a dark, cooled container and carried it to the lab. Then they moved it into a larger, sterile container. And they did this until they had, I think, 1.5 kilos of sheep poo. Then they mixed it all together
Why do they mix it together?
to make it homogenized. To make it like, yeah, like, you know.
Because you could have one that's just really healthy. That's
Exactly,
really
yeah.
poo.
You want to just mix them all together. with some sort of liquid. I can't remember what it was, but they mixed them all together.
It can't have taken very long for them to get 1.5 kilos of poo.
No, it was probably quite quick.
Yeah, that's like
Yeah.
one.
Because they had several sheep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't say
Probably-
how many, but
Probably less than a day.
Yeah,
Lots of sheep.
definitely.
yeah. So they got all the sheep poo, mixed it all together. Then they got some AstroTurf,
Yes.
like fake grass.
Yes, we know what astroturf is.
And they took 30 gram like spoonfuls of the sheep feces that had been all mixed together, and they put it on the AstroTurf. Then they brought it outside and they put it on the ground and they put a cover over it.
You're really painting a picture here.
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to tell you what they did.
Uh-huh.
They put a rainproof shelter over it, but they had the sides empty because they wanted air to be able to circulate.
You're gonna stab me in the eyeball with that pen soon.
Sorry, I'm just trying to give a picture of what's going on. So they left the sides open so the air could circulate, and then they made this rainfall contraption out of like tray.
Do you know what
and
this?
needles.
Do you know what I have in my head?
Yeah.
I have like the Martian in my head when he's in the ash. When he's in.
Oh
the
my God,
rocket.
yeah.
Yeah, and he's stranded on Mars, and
Yeah.
he needs to like figure out how to.
And
make
he's growing
stuff.
potatoes using his feces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
with his makeshift rain thing.
Yeah. So exactly, they watched The Martian. They were like, let's do that, but with sheep poo. So anyway, they rigged up their big rainfall machine and got it to make droplets which were 3 millimeters in size. So just to let you know, the average
Why does that matter?
the average raindrop size is less than 2 millimeters.
How do they know that? Who did this?
Well, obviously, there's
No,
some people-
who-
Stop
Just
insulting the
readily
people who
available.
research rain.
How do you measure the size of an average raindrop? Do you just need to be super fast? Like when the rain's coming, you're like.
No, you could just get like
Probably
a slow-mo camera.
Yeah, it's probably some sort of really high-tech camera or like a laser diffraction
Okay.
machine or something.
That's really smart, guys.
And that's why I don't know what I was going to say.
What were you gonna say?
I don't know.
What were you gonna say, Alice?
I don't know. I was trying to insult you, but I couldn't think of something fast enough. Anyway, so the average rainfall, So average rainfall is less than 2 millimeters. The droplets in size.
Okay.
So anyway, they let it rain for 20
So
minutes.
this isn't very realistic, then, is
Yeah,
it?
it's already
Yeah,
not
a little bit
average
off,
size.
a little bit, but they tried their best. So they did mention other papers that did a crappier job, but I don't know how large their rain
Oh,
droplets
sorry,
were.
Shaun.
You will be.
So they let the rain fall for 20 minutes. So what they did was it simulated. Guys, stop playing footsie. This is ridiculous. We're trying to do a podcast.
Sorry, I was stretching my legs.
What? You're short. Like, what's going on? How far are you stretching? So, back to the rainfall. They simulated light rainfall. So the results they found, they were like, actually, it could be more severe for heavy rainfall. And I hear they get a lot of rain in New Zealand.
Probably.
I have
So-
no idea.
I think they do. Because
In my head, it's
they're
quite rainy.
mountainous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But isn't it right next to Australia? And I feel like Australia gets zero rainfall.
But I think the weather in New Zealand's very different to the weather in Australia.
Okay.
Because it's more south.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So yeah, they let the rain fall for like 20 minutes each day, and they also had they had individual pieces of AstroTurf, and they put 30 grams of feces on each little piece, and then they put them all outside in a 3x7 matrix, and they made drip trays. So the rain would fall on the feces on the AstroTurf, and then the leachate.
Is that actually what it's called?
That's what they called it. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you would find that interesting. You probably don't know
is
what it
it?
means. Just the water that the poo water. So
The
after the
shitty
rain,
water.
like runs through the poo,
Okay.
the sheep feces, and then it collects in a tray. So they collected that because they wanted to see how much E. coli would be in that water. So that's in this like scenario. That's the rainwater that
Yeah.
then gets washed into the river.
Yeah.
But they're collecting it in a drip tray.
Okay. I'm
That's
with you.
slightly angled. That's how much detail they did tell me. The paper told me it was angled.
Okay.
I feel like you could just assume that it was angled.
No, but you never assume anything.
You don't
in
know
science.
if it's just collecting in one or
Never.
Or just
dripping.
spinning off the edge
Yeah.
if it's flat.
Yeah. So every day for 21 days they went out and they would pick at random some of the samples and test them to see how much E. coli was in the water, how turbid the water was, which I learnt recently
I don't know what
means.
that means. Oh.
Demelza fact checked it for me. So turbidity is the degree of particles suspended in the water.
No.
It's a loss of clarity due to the
No.
amount.
Turbidity is the level of transparency in the water.
The loss.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Okay. I feel like
So the
transparency and clarity are different things, but okay. Anyway. So now we know what turbidity
Drive.
means.
Okay. So, yeah.
It's just
So
like
the
the
more
colour.
turbid something is, the more particles are floating around in it. So in this scenario, it would be poo particles.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
brownie.
Yeah, yeah. So they measured that, and they measured how much E. coli was in it, and they took the fecal samples afterwards, and they measured their moisture content, see how much water got left in there, because that plays a role in how the E. coli survive. So you know the way at the start I was saying how the aged feces, they thought it would be fine if it rained on aged feces because all the E. coli would die off, but actually no. If the feces stay nice and moist, I hate that word. I can't believe I just said that. Then the E. coli survive.
Oh.
Yeah.
So E. coli survive in rainy countries.
No, specifically E. coli survive in moist feces.
Okay.
So they could say moist in other ways.
Okay.
Oh,
So
But like humid. It has to be
Yeah.
like humid to keep
a
it.
humid poo.
Oh yeah. I'm just imagining a warm.
Guys, I kind of hate myself for doing this paper a little bit.
It's
Demelza
quite-
just nodded and looked at me.
I think it's actually quite interesting.
I like it.
So, moving on to the results. Would you have any questions about what else they did?
Like, how you said they tested the E. coli.
Yeah.
I want to know like how. Like, are they like feeding it to other animals to see if they die?
No, but that's interesting. That
That'd
they
be
should
good.
do that.
Because you
No.
need to know the real impacts on the
yeah.
actual living.
The real life.
something.
Yeah.
I just feed it to more sheep. They've already got too many.
Yeah, like, kill some of them off.
Well, by the sounds of it.
So no, they do something called culturing, which is where they take a little bit of the feces, put it on a plate of agar, which is like food for the E. coli, and then they flourish. And they can do funny maths and statistics to figure out how much there was to begin with.
What's agar? Food, but like what kind of? Are we talking like bacteria things,
It's food for the bacteria.
or like a leaf that they
It's
eat?
like a jelly that's
Yeah.
full of nutrients, and
Oh,
those
right.
nutrients feed the bacteria.
Yeah,
Okay. Do we
nutrient-rich jelly.
Does that mean that stuff's like inside of us? Because
No.
but it goes in the sheep and they
No,
live.
but that's just our artificial way of growing
Yeah.
the bacteria.
For scientific reasons.
Oh, it's not
Yeah.
like real life stuff. It's science people stuff.
But I do think you can use agar in cooking.
Mhm.
They use it to make things.
It's they use agar instead of gelatin in
Yeah.
vegetarian cooking. It's
There you
made
go.
from algae.
Ah,
Tom's going to be speaking a lot on this episode.
yeah.
Just repeat what I say.
So it's made from algae and it's used in vegetarian cooking, according to Demelza,
It sounds
our
dangerous.
fountain of knowledge.
We could just give E. coli to all the vegetarian people accidentally if they just leave some E. coli.
Oh my
on that.
god, that's so true.
That's why you don't want to be vegetarian.
Yeah, but you then need
Just
to
saying.
find an incubator.
Jesus,
Holy shit. Curie, this is really strong.
that's really loud.
Sorry. But then you need to
Definitely
find
feel
an
tipsier than I felt in
you
a
need to
while.
find an incubator that is 36.8
Some
degrees
dehydration.
Celsius that you can then.
The incubator is your stomach.
Oh.
No, I don't know. I'm just chatting shit.
No, it
that
is.
makes sense. Yeah.
It is, yeah.
That's how you get food poisoning
Oh,
because it multiplies in your stomach.
damn. Wait, so if you've got food poisoning, they should just stick you in like a freezer or something cold, and then you'll like kill.
And
off
then
the-
you'll die.
I mean, there's that possibility.
The bacteria will die, but so
I
will
wonder
you.
if that would work though.
What, putting you in a freezer?
No, if you got your body down to a colder temperature.
No, because if your body gets too cold or too hot, all your enzymes denature.
Oh,
so
that's true.
you're
Your
useless.
immune system won't be able to fight it.
No, a better idea then. Just put ice cubes in their stomach, because then it only cools down the stomach and not.
No, but then nothing in the stomach will work.
You don't need it to, because you can just drip feed. I've
Okay,
thought of everything. I'm
that's not-
telling you.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so, yeah, they found that 10 to the 3 to 10 to the 4 E. coli were
So
released.
10,000 or 100,000? No, 1,000 or 10,000.
E. coli, individual E. coli, were released over 21 days.
Like like little bacteria, E. coli's.
So 1,000 to 10,000 singular E. coli's.
Were released over 10 days. 21 days.
From the poop.
Wait, from what poop? Like, so each day their sample they took, and then they did all the flushing.
Wait, so
then-
each day it increased by 1,000 to 10,000. So, or after 21 days, there's 10.
No, in total.
Oh, that's not a lot.
No. But they do say that that's... So it was 2.4 to 0.4% of the available E. coli. No, sorry, 2.6 to 0.4% of the available... Sorry, 0.4... Okay, one more time. 0.4 to 2.6% of the available E. coli was washed into the hypothetical rainwater that was then collected and would have maybe made it to the river.
How many E. coli?
But this was only in light rainfall, remember?
Oh, okay. So it could be worse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Way worse. How many E. coli's do you need to get fucked up?
Probably only one.
Yeah, and then it'll multiply.
Yeah.
Oh, they're like asexual. They just
Yeah.
fuck themselves. And then,
That's exactly how it works.
Yeah.
cool. Man, that's scary.
They will. Yeah.
So they concluded that rainfall can cause the release of significant numbers of E. coli from fresh and aged sheep feces. So they think their big finding was that they were like, oh, you can get it
Yeah.
bad from aged feces.
I guess
also.
because you'd assume that if it'd been sitting out, it would have died.
It would, yeah. And they were very concerned that it would contaminate waterways and deteriorate the water quality, and that recreational contact would be a health risk.
So basically,
Again, with the recreational activities.
they just need to hire more people to clean up the sheep poo.
Another interesting fact that they found.
Hello.
No one is gonna pay or be paid. No, but they don't clean up sheep poo to begin with. They leave it there.
Okay, fine. Then they need to bring in some sort of other
Demelza,
animal.
you're
There
from
are
a
better
farm. Does
solutions
anybody
here.
pick up sheep poo? No.
So then maybe
Not if
they
they're
need
in
to
the
bring
field.
in some sort of something that won't fuck up the ecosystem. Some sort of
Contraption.
insect or animal that will come in and like eat the poo.
Going all Black Mirror.
Or clean it up. No, like a living thing. And like clean
Okay.
it up or
I was thinking it was like a robot bee or something.
No. Oh god,
That
no.
would then fly into your brain. See that episode?
Oh, do you know what they could do?
Terrifying.
They could get something like that
Ooh.
to fly into the sheep's brain, and then train the sheep to go and shit in a toilet. So then, or just train them. You could just train them like dogs.
Yeah, let's not put things in their brains.
Yeah, you don't need that. That was
Can sheep be trained?
I
anything.
doubt
Can
it.
be
Um,
trained.
okay, ding ding.
course
Silent
you
Demelza has found pictures. So horses do have manure catchers, which you can hang from the back of them under their tail.
Oh, that's like a nappy.
and it
That's not
catches all
nice.
their poop.
Imagine if you forgot to clean it out, and then it was just overflowing right next to their butthole, and it was all
Shaun,
getting
why
everywhere.
are you like this?
Can I just say the last finding
Yeah.
that I thought was quite interesting and that everyone would enjoy? So they found that the feces that they collected, so the New Zealand sheep feces, had similar amounts of E. coli in them in total. So just the feces before they did the simulated rain had similar amounts of E. coli to other studies that would have measured the amounts of E. coli in sheep poo, specifically in New Zealand. But when they compared them to the sheep poo from the UK, the New Zealand sheep had more E. coli.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah.
Do you
So
think
do you
that's
know?
got
Wow.
to do with the fact that UK has super strict regulations on livestock?
Probably.
Yeah.
But I think New Zealand's regulations and things
Probably.
are probably quite good. But I know that
Because New
Europe
Zealand.
and the UK, like, I think they're known for...
So anyway,
So
that's the end.
any closing thoughts? That's it.
I want to
The
know
end.
how comes the sheep don't die of E. coli? 'Cause
They
have
probably
it, right?
they probably have something in
Yeah.
them that kills it.
Their
It's
immune
like-
system would have been, like,
Why
Yeah.
don't we
primed
take
to
it?
coexist.
We should like.
So I think
steal their
humans
blood.
probably... Normally what happens with us is we are fine fending off small amounts of bacteria, bad pathogenic bacteria. Sometimes even small amounts of pathogenic bacteria are useful to us. But it's when they overgrow. So if you get... Although I think E. coli might not be the same as that. Yes?
We do have E. coli.
No, like
But not
kind
so
of
much.
harmoniously living in us.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's if it multiplies and takes over, that's when bad things happen.
We have E. coli in us.
We've
Like
everything
now.
inside us.
Yeah.
Damn, everything.
Everything.
Well,
Everything.
No, actually, you might not have everything, but if you're really lucky, you would have everything. The
Do you
more
know what?
diverse you are, the better.
You know your question about the sheep? Do you know what it's like? It's like people in, say, living in Southeast Asia. they don't need to take anti-malarials every day because that's the environment they've lived in. It's the same sort of thing.
Wait, but they just don't get malaria?
Most of them are immune to it, I think.
So
You can
there's
be immune to it.
And that's what causes, so not in Asia but in Africa there's a similar situation, and that's why it's a genetic thing. So they've developed a genetic immunity to malaria, but that's also what caused sickle cell anemia. Did you know that?
Wait, because they had...
So they got
the
a genetic immunity. So the way genetics works is you get like one copy from your mom and one copy from your dad.
Yeah.
So they developed a mutation in one copy of this thing that then allowed them to be resistant to malaria. So they were all happy, but that was just if they had one mutated one and one normal one. But if they get two mutated ones, then they have sickle cell anemia. So yeah.
And that
And that's really bad.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's very painful. Good. So there's another fact that's completely unrelated to poo, but you know. So, did you enjoy that?
Yes, I enjoyed that.
Did you
Sounds
get
good.
it?
I think I got it. Like, generally, yeah. It's I get this concept. I think it just scared me more than anything.
That's what we like to do here. Scare people.
Now I'm just thinking, like, imagining there's loads of sheep walking around New Zealand that are just carrying this
E. coli.
disease in them, and they're shitting it all over the
But
place.
it's the same here. And also, do you know what? It doesn't even matter. Like, we've all been exposed to it because the river water is going to be turned into tap water, and then
But it's treated.
yeah, but
in a treatment plant.
and bottled water is all the same thing anyway.
But, like, if I go to New Zealand, I'm just constantly looking at the sheep like, fuck you,
Are
like,
you
stay
trying to
away
kill me?
from me, yeah. I'm never going to play in their rivers. You've just killed that opportunity.
He's never going to frolic in any.
Just don't let the sheep shit on you, and you'll be okay.
Okay, I'll try.
Yeah.
I feel like that's doable.
It might be hard.
There's a lot of them.
Your
They were
eyes,
just walking
your
around.
eyes just went really
The
wide.
sheep just walking backwards in New Zealand towards everyone. Like, I'm gonna get you.
So yeah, so how much do you want to go to New Zealand now?
I mean, I'd still go. It's not put me off
I
that
think
bad.
Okay,
New
I'm
Zealand
glad.
is my top.
Oh yeah, I really wanna
My
go.
3 top are New Zealand, Hawaii, and Japan. So, my paper talks about slightly more normal animals, humans and rats. Okay, so I'm going to read you the title of my paper and then we'll go into it. Mine is my paper is slightly less comedic than Alice's paper, but it still talks about poo. Okay,
This is actually one of my favourite papers.
it is. You talk about this quite a lot.
I do.
So the paper's called Transferring the Blues, Depression-associated gut microbiota induces neurobehavioral changes in the rat.
What? Hold on.
Do we just go again?
Yes.
Transferring the blues. Ignore that bit because that's just them
Is
trying
that just
to...
a little fun name
yeah,
for it?
they're
That's
just trying to be
cute.
funny there.
It's like the pre-title.
Depression-associated gut microbiota Depression-associated gut microbiota induces neurobehavioral changes in the rat.
To me, that sounds like poo makes you sad.
Oh my god!
That's pretty much it.
You're pretty
That's
much hit
quite-
the
Well, we
nail
don't
on
need
the
to
head.
do this paper.
Okay,
now.
let's
No,
go
wait.
home.
I want to do it. I want to
Okay.
know why. How?
How?
How? Can we get
Okay.
poo that makes you happy? So many questions.
Oh,
Potentially.
there you go.
Okay, so the main thing about this is a gut microbiota, right? It's what Alice likes to call your little soldiers in your gut. So these are all your bacteria in your gut that are mostly good for you. All good for you.
Not all, but
Mostly.
once they maintain balance, they're
Yeah,
good.
they're good for you. And everyone has it. Everyone has lots of bacteria in their guts, and that's called your gut microbiota.
Cool.
Okay. So this paper was published in 2016, so there's a lot more known about it now. But basically, they were starting to see that your gut microbiota can modulate or have an influence on your brain activity. So there seems to be some sort of link between your gut and your brain. Depending on the status of your gut and the bacteria in it, it also seems to have an impact on how your brain is functioning.
Okay.
So, it was always known that there was a connection between your gut and your brain, because there's a nervous system in your gut that obviously communicates back to your brain. That used to be called the gut-brain axis. Now we have...
The gut-brain microbiota axis.
You did it wrong.
The gut microbiota.
No,
brain.
you did it wrong.
The microbiota gut-brain axis.
Okay.
So now it seems that actually the actual bacteria in the gut seem to be able to do something too. So then people are thinking, okay, well, surely that means then your gut microbiota we can target that to try and treat psychiatric disorders, right?
Okay.
Such
I like
makes
where
sense.
this is going, yeah.
Yeah. So then the disorder they focused on in this paper is depression or major depressive disorder.
Hold on, wait a minute. Bacteria are the microbiota, right?
Yes.
Okay, so they're just little
They're the little
things,
guys in your
organisms.
Yeah.
gut.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you got loads of different types.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
some make you happy, some make you sad, possibly.
Potentially.
Maybe.
That's what this
we're,
is.
We're
Yeah.
a while off knowing that, but yeah,
Yeah.
kind of.
Okay.
Okay, so the one that we're going to talk about is depression. And depression is very, very complex. It's the #1 cause of disability worldwide. It's really complex. We don't really know what causes depression exactly. We don't know how to treat it properly either. All the medication, all the antidepressants that we have, they're not very effective, to be honest.
And they all have really bad side effects.
Yeah.
And one of the
Yeah.
interesting things is most of the medications that target depression will normally have gastrointestinal side effects. So that's kind of more evidence that they're
Makes it worse.
linked in some way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're supposed to target your brain, but they're having an impact on your gut as well.
Right.
So it's kind of like some small evidence that there might be some kind of link there.
Wait, they think that because it's affecting your gut, that's why they work? Like, that's why they make you not depressed? They
No, the
change
other way.
what's...
Yeah.
That's why
Is that what you
that's
said?
why they're not
Yeah.
that good.
Yeah.
Because
Because-
It's not why they're not that good, but
One of the reasons why they may not work as well as we'd like. Yeah.
Because they fuck around with the things in your gut.
Yeah.
Which is not good.
Okay, so this study, they were basically just trying to investigate that. So they had a few aims. So one, they wanted to see if there was actually differences in the gut microbiota of people that were depressed. So patients with depression. They wanted to see if there were any consequences of those differences. They also wanted to see if they could use a certain technique to alter microbiota and influence mood.
I like where this is going.
But we'll discuss that when we get to it. Okay, so they used 34 people with depression, and they'd get them to do a little poop. And then, so I'm going to do the people stuff first, and then we're going to talk about the rats. This is that. Yeah.
Why did they do people first? Don't they
You'll
always
see.
do rats first?
You'll see.
Alright.
So this is actually a very quick paper. It's a lot of work, but the results can be summed up really quickly. So the first.
and I also point out it was done in Ireland.
Yeah.
The guys that did it are really cool. I
In
love
Cork.
them.
Okay.
Crying and dining. Dinan? Dining?
Right, okay. So the first one was that, so they just kind of looked at the main differences between, some of the differences between depressed people and normal people. And this is one of the key features of depression, which is they found that the people with depression had increased inflammation, which is your body's response to harmful stimuli. So, which is a good thing, right? So you have something harmful happening to your body.
Okay.
Your body goes into inflammation, which means it's going to be releasing loads of shit from your immune system to try and get rid of that. The problem is, if that inflammation persists or it's there for too long, it's then going to start attacking your body, and it leads to negative things.
Whoa, wait.
Too much of a good thing.
Wait, so you get some sort of disease or something attacks you,
Yeah.
your body does like the white blood cells or whatever it does to fight it off.
Yeah.
And then the white blood cells or whatever they are start attacking you.
If it's there, if you have some sort of condition that causes that inflammation to be there for too long.
So it's kind of like it's unregulated, like it
Yeah.
doesn't switch off.
Right.
So the idea is that a pathogen is what Curie is talking about. So something bad that's going to cause disease comes in and decides to attack. Your immune system is like, no, and goes on the defense. That's inflammation. So it's trying to like inflame the...
So, for example, one example which might help you with this is that obesity is your body being consistently in a state of inflammation, right? Because if you're obese, that's bad for your body,
Okay.
which raises all these problems in your body because it's like, oh, something bad's happening, I'm going to try and fight it. But because obesity is not something that you just get rid of, your body's now in this constant state of trying to fight something bad, and then that in turn causes lots of bad things to happen. So that is what then causes all the problems that come with obesity.
Oh, so it's
Yeah.
not just because you got a lot of weight and like it's just causing things
No,
to
so a
go
lot of the
wrong.
It's very complex.
Yeah.
But one of the things is inflammation.
Yeah, one of the main
Right.
like things that cause all the consequences of obesity is this constant state of being in inflammation.
Okay.
Another thing as well is like autoimmune diseases. That's when
when your body attacks itself, like lupus.
So your immune system turns on itself. I feel like I'm opening up a can of worms. Move on.
And then the other one that happens in depression, which is one of the other general things that seem to happen, is that you have an altered stress response. So your body starts to release a lot more cortisol, which is your stress hormone. So cortisol is your main stress hormone, and it's what triggers that flight or fight response.
Like the butterflies.
Yeah, kind of. And cortisol is what gets you it gets ready for you to deal with stress. And when you're depressed, you seem to be releasing a lot more cortisol than you should be. Okay, so then they looked at the microbiota of the depressed patients, and they found that the species of bacteria within these people, they were a lot less diverse, and they had far less total species, and the overall richness, I feel like Alice, the overall richness of the microbiota was decreased. So basically you just didn't have as many species as you would, variety in your bacteria as you would compared to a healthy person.
What decides who gets what bacteria in there?
Wait, can I say what I learned from you?
Okay, fine.
Okay, so one of them is your initial exposure to the environment. So when you're born,
Right.
whatever you're exposed to then, that forms an integral part of your basal microbiota.
Basil. I like
So,
that word.
of your
It's like
microbiota.
nasal.
And then just, no?
No, you're
Wait.
Okay.
What period are you talking? Baby, like
when you're
getting
coming out of the
exposed?
Be more
vagina.
specific. Yeah.
bang, like
During
there and
childbirth,
then.
literally the
It's not
minute
like
you
2
enter the
years.
earth.
So there's
Whoa.
a really big difference in the diversity in the gut microbiomes of babies born through the vaginal canal, so natural birth, or cesareans.
Is natural canal better?
Oh yeah, much better.
So as you
My
go
mum
through,
fucked me up.
you're sucking up all from the.
Yeah, literally
Yeah.
all your mom's
You get
microbiota is just all over you, and it goes in your ears and in your mouth and up your nose
Jesus.
and every crevice of your body, and then it colonizes your gut, and that's one of the best things that
Can happen.
ever happens.
Yeah.
Wait, can't people
In my
just
opinion.
recreate that if they need to heal their?
So that
Just create a fake.
kind of
vagina?
that's one of these things that this designer blood transfusion, things like that. I feel like that's where that kind of thing is going, but people are still a bit weirded out by it because it's essentially
You're playing God.
not even playing God, but it's always something that's associated with something gross. So it's it's like someone's poo being put inside you, or a swab from your ass or vagina. Yeah, essentially.
They do that. I
Do
think
they?
They've been trialing it out with C-section babies, basically
Getting
moving
swabs and
Yeah.
Oh.
gauze.
yeah.
But this only works for babies, right?
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
the first thing. There's more.
Another one is your diet. So
Major one.
Yeah, okay, the major one is your diet. So depending on what you eat, so fibre is good. Your microbiota will feed off the fibre. Are you proud of me?
Yeah. Keep going.
Your microbiota will feed off the fibre in your diet. So we don't actually digest fibre. Different types of fibre is good. So your microbiota will actually feed off the fibre and we don't, and then what we poop out is fibre.
Is the waste products of
Yeah.
what they've eaten.
So they they eat fibre.
Yeah.
Okay, so
that's
fibre,
what we
wanna
feed our bacteria.
We
Yeah.
want to feed them because
Yeah.
they're good for us.
Yeah, exactly.
But what about if we just find the really good bacteria and then only feed them what they like? Or do we
But you
not
need
know
a
which
balance.
one's like which?
So you're onto something there. That's called prebiotics,
Oh.
which are being researched more and more. So we have found that there is certain foods that only feed, or not certain foods, certain fibers that are preferred by certain good bacteria.
But do you not need a balance?
You do, but it is obviously these days, it's quite a young area of research realistically. There's still so much people don't know. You do need a balance, but the whole thing of prebiotics is that they promote beneficial strains while having no effect on negative strains. So that's obviously a good thing, or it has been shown to be a good thing.
Yakult. Is that
So that's a probiotic,
Oh.
which is slightly different. That's introducing good species of bacteria. So that's moving in new families rather than just feeding the ones that are already there.
That's trying to do the vagina thing, but in a bottle.
Kind of, yeah. Vagina juice, essentially.
Gross.
That's like something you would say.
I would never.
You would say that. You would 100% say that.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So that's how we get our microbiota. They also found that people that were depressed had different composition of bacterial families as well. The next part of the study. This is the interesting part. So what they did was they used some rats. They used 28 rats, and they tried to make them depressed. And the way they tried to make them depressed was through something called fecal microbiota transplantation. So what this means, what do you think that is?
I think it means you take shit and shove it up a rat's arsehole.
Why just make it so violent?
Until they cry.
Oh!
That's so mean. And that's how they get depressed.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Oh my
It's
god.
funny because
Okay.
he thinks they get depressed because it's so traumatic.
Yeah.
But it is making them depressed, it's just not that way.
Right, okay, so pretty much that's kind of what they did, but far more gently. So they got the poo from the depressed human patients, and they
Oh, whoa, it was human poo.
Yep, from the human patients,
That's
and they
fucked
would
up.
transplant the microbiota from that poo into these rats. And actually, on Jamie's episode, we did a really similar paper. Alice did a really similar paper, but they're actually trying this in humans now to try and reduce symptoms of IBS. So
Yeah, I
they were
remember
actually
listening
getting
to
poo
this.
from
And
healthy.
treat certain infections.
Yeah, so they're getting poo from healthy people and putting it into.
Yeah. I read an article and it was like some woman put her poo into her husband because he was like not doing well for something, I don't know. And then they really wanted to do it. But it said something like it's really dangerous, or they don't like doing it in hospitals because there's so much shit around. It's really infectious, maybe. Like it's easy to. It's not
I suppose
sterile.
it makes you vulnerable because you're exposed.
Yeah.
It definitely would have to be very highly controlled
Yeah.
in an environment.
That would be so cool though if like this became mainstream.
If
and
you're
everyone
sick,
was
I'm just
It
like-
is being used, I think, in not mainstream, but for an infection called C. difficile. I think it's.
Yeah, that's what the paper was on.
difficile.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember because you made that terrible joke.
Oh, what was it?
The C.
A C
difficile.
difficile to poo.
No, V. difficile to poo.
Yeah.
Although I'm pretty sure C. difficile does the opposite, but anyway.
Anywho, so they did these mice, and then they wanted to see what would happen to the rats. So they put the poo in, the microbiota, from these depressed patients into these healthy rats to see what would happen. And lo and behold, these rats became depressed.
Oh my god.
Not from the trauma of having shit shoved up their asshole.
This is great. This is amazing. I feel like there's endless possibilities.
Yeah.
You could just take all the happy people, all of their poo, and put it into all the sad people. Job solved. I mean, problem solved.
Going one step further, you wouldn't even need to technically. I think what they think is going to happen is that if they can kind of zero in on the specific bacteria that are the ones that are beneficial, that are kind of would cancel out or might improve depressive symptoms, so they could just, grow those bacteria, put them into a pill, so like a probiotic basically, which people already take for different reasons, and give them as a treatment. And actually these guys who did this paper have coined a term for that, and they call it psychobiotics, and it's like this new thing.
Thing is, though, I bet
It's a bit far off though.
yeah, it's not going to be particular species of good bacteria. It's going to be the entire environment, like of a balanced and many bacteria probably
They're
contributing.
like a community.
Yeah,
and they work
contributing to
together.
the same thing.
Also,
So that is quite they call it, they're trying to focus more on functionality rather than exactly what you have. So in different people, different bacteria might do the same jobs. So that's why they've kind of had an issue trying to find the ideal composition. There is no ideal composition because different bacteria will take on different roles in different people. So yeah, you're onto something there.
oh wait, so you're saying that like you couldn't, if someone had like the perfect like mix, and then you gave it to someone else, it wouldn't be the perfect mix for them because they're like different? Or you could just find the perfect mix and give it to everyone and everyone would be great?
It would be nice if that was the case, but they found that was initially what was thought, but they've been finding that very difficult to do for various different
Do you know
reasons.
what's going to happen? They're going to find some magical child that has the perfect concoction, and then some evil scientists are going to hold on to this child and try to like manipulate her and like do experiments on her, and it's going to be like a whole X-Men thing.
That would be so cool.
Would it?
Yeah. Well,
Not for the
forget,
child.
yeah, poor child. Too bad. But everyone else gets to be like superheroes, basically, is what I'm imagining. Like people are going to turn into like the Hulk
and suddenly you're like super good at pooing and really happy because you've got her super bacteria.
Yeah, like it's like on the hour every day. Like, I mean, not every hour.
That's too much.
No, I mean, like, I meant to say like 8 a.m. every day.
That's
ready.
too early.
All right, you know what I'm saying.
Okay. Wait, can it depend on the time of the week?
Huh?
So if it's like on weekdays, my poo will come at exactly 7 a.m. in the morning. If it's on a weekend, maybe push it back to like 10.
You just said 8 a.m. was too early. Why are you now 7 a.m.?
Yeah.
No, because I was thinking...
What do you want, Curie?
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me go on to the results of this.
Go.
Okay, so they performed 4 different behavioural tests on the rats to confirm that these rats are now depressed. So remember, these rats were not depressed at all when they started this. They put the poo...
Can I just confirm?
Yeah.
Did they put poo from humans into the rats
Yes.
or from happy rats? Okay.
From depressed humans into happy rats.
Okay.
How do you know you have a happy rat?
Because they'll just be normal. Like, they're just a normal rat.
Okay.
Yeah.
All rats
And-
are happy unless they're not happy.
Well, you'll see that when I explain the results of the behavioural
Alright.
test, you'll see that they start displaying symptoms of depression,
Okay.
which is not normal for them. So the first test they did is called a sucrose preference test. And what this is, they put 2 water bottles in the cage. One is just normal water, and one is water that's been supplemented with sugar or sucrose. And then they will let the rats sort of, have a bit of both of each. And then they become depressed, and then they see what they're having. And a sign of depression is one of the symptoms that we have in humans. It's called anhedonia. And this means you don't feel pleasure in the things that used to be pleasurable. So, for example, someone with depression might have really enjoyed going out and taking walks, but suddenly they hate being outside and they don't enjoy it anymore, so they'll just stay inside.
Okay.
Yeah. So with these rats, they will compare the difference between before and after of how much of of how much of the sucrose one that they're actually drinking. So they should prefer the sweeter one.
Yeah.
But when they have these depressive-like symptoms, they will drink less of that and actually just drink more of the water. So their overall fluid intake isn't being changed, but the percentage of what they're drinking is changing.
So these rats get so upset. They're like, I don't want sugary, nice, like liquid. I'm just gonna drink the boring, plain.
Yeah.
Damn, that's
So
deep.
these rats that happened, they stopped drinking. There was a significant reduction in how much of the sucrose water they drank.
That's sad.
It is sad. And then they did 2 tests that would see if the rats displayed any anxiety, like, excuse me, will you get off WhatsApp, please?
Sorry, Fleetwood Mac are playing at home and my friend's talking about it.
Okay, so they did 2 tests to see if these rats displayed anxiety-like behaviour, and that's another sign of depression. And one of them is called the open field test. It's literally a big open ring thing, like a cart. Like they'll make a field with walls so the rats don't get out and escape, and they will stick the rat in the middle. And what they're seeing is how much time they spent in the middle and how much time they spent exploring. What they're looking at is a proportion of time that they spend in the middle and time that they spend around the edge of the circle where the walls are. So if they're spending more time around the walls, then they're anxious because they would just want to hide. And it turns out once they put in the poo, that these rats were suddenly showing this anxiety, and they wanted to spend more time against the walls rather than in the middle. The other anxiety test they did is called an elevated plus maze. So this is a sort of maze that they make again. It's on a platform, and it's made of 4 arms in the shape of a cross. 2 of the arms don't have any walls, they're just flat runways. And 2 of the arms have walls. Follow?
I think so.
And now this time they'll plonk the rat in the middle, and they're measuring how much time the rat spends on the arms without the walls versus how much time the rat spends in the arms with the walls.
Why does that? I don't get it.
Because an anxious rat won't want to explore too far where there's no walls.
Oh, because they're scared they're going to fall off or something.
And it's just open, it's more open and they can't hide.
Oh.
Whereas if they go in the arms with the walls, they can hide in there.
With the walls, but is there a roof? Or does it not really matter?
No, there's no roof, it's just got walls.
Oh,
But
okay.
for them, that's still enough shade and they'll hide in there.
Yeah.
And again, they saw the same thing where the depressed rats, these rats that were happy were now spending more time in the arms with the walls, so they were anxious and they were now showing signs of depression. The final one they did is what's called a forced swim test. So they'll literally plonk a rat in the middle of a pool and try to watch it escape.
Oh my
So
God.
rats don't like water, rodents don't like water,
Oh,
they
I
will
didn't
try
know
to
that.
leave. And so they're measuring how much time the rat spends on the sides climbing, trying to get out, and how much time the rat actually spends swimming, and how much time the rat's actually like, fuck this, and just gives up and is immobile.
Some of them do that.
So a depressed
ones do
a
that.
depressed rodent will just give up. They'll
Oh my
stop swimming.
God.
They'll stop trying to get out. They'll
And it'll
just get
just die.
immobile, and they'll just you take them out before they die.
But like, if you didn't,
The water's deep enough so they can like rest a paw
Oh.
on the bottom,
Yeah.
so they can just be like.
okay, so they can just sit there breathing. But
Yeah, so they won't try to get out.
and someone's
It's like they're suicidal.
damn, and someone's
They're
just
trying to
timing
suicidal
them.
because they're just like, fuck it, I'm here.
I think suicide requires a bit more effort than that.
Okay, fine. Anyway, but this one they actually found no difference, which is surprising.
Oh,
There was no change in their climbing or swimming or immobility within the fourth swim test.
so someone's just timing these rats swimming as well.
Yep.
That sounds like a fun job.
Does it?
I would like it,
If you're
especially
doing
if you've got a favourite and you're like,
if you're doing
"Go
that
on,
with
Johnny."
28 rats
That could
every
be-
day,
Yeah, maybe you get sick of it.
yeah, I don't think.
Especially the ones that are just like not putting the effort in and just dilly dallying along. You're like, hurry up, get
Yeah.
along with it. I got things to do.
Anywho, and then they looked at the other thing that they saw no change in was, we were saying that the depressed human patients tend to have increased levels of inflammation. The rats didn't have that. They're not really sure why. That could just be something that's different, just one of the differences between rats and humans in this case.
Right.
And when we look at the gut microbiota, we saw a very similar thing to humans. The richness of the gut microbiota was reduced, and the diversity of the species of bacteria was reduced in these rats as well. So, for them, this paper was one of the first bit of definitive evidence that depression is associated with changes in your gut microbiota, and your gut microbiota is enough to cause depression or be a causal factor in depression.
Contribute
to. Demelza's telling me off and doing a lot of inverted commas right now. The gut microbiota might have a causal role, might have an important role in developing depression. And one of the conclusions they had is one of the characteristics of depression is an altered gut microbiota.
So what we're saying is that it may probably have an impact on making them depressed. The little thingies in there, but it's not enough to be like, we're going to give you this and you're definitely going to get depressed.
Yeah.
It's not like a depressed pill in the bum.
Yeah.
Well, you put it in the bum.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, it's interesting because one of the things that's coming up now that's majorly influences depression and mood is your nutrition. So one of the things that nutrition could be doing is through your gut microbiota.
Oh, because it changes them.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Nutrition seems to affect a lot. It could be through the brain or the microbiota, but microbiota could definitely be one of them. Yes.
Good mood food.
Ooh.
One of the things here that I think Demelza may have been air quoting for is, again, I think this is a bit of a chicken and egg situation. So it's unsure whether your microbiota being dysregulated causes depression, or whether being depressed dysregulates your microbiota. Like, which comes first?
Wait, what?
So whether your microbiota gets fucked up first and that leads on to depression, or whether your depression is causing your microbiota to be fucked up. Because actually, if you think about it, if you think of one of the core symptoms of depression, one is that you don't really look after yourself, right? Which could be your nutrition, right? So if that's one example. So if you have depression and you're not looking after yourself, then that could lead on to altering your gut microbiota. Or it could have been the other way around, where your gut microbiota is messed up first and then that's causing depression. We don't know.
I see. So we're saying this is not going to be like a thing where you can just change people's gut stuff and then they'll become different.
No, but it opens up doors to potential treatments. So it's kind of saying this is something that we should focus on and look at as a way that maybe we can think about what's going on here.
I see.
That is all of science. All research is, this is opening a door and helping us see that maybe this is something that we should maybe be looking at that might be able to help this one day in the future.
That's so frustrating.
See how many maybes and mights there were in that sentence. Science.
I mean, I was hoping you'd just come at me with, yeah, we can do this and now people are going to be superheroes.
This isn't
But it's
Facebook.
not.
Or the Daily Mail.
Oh,
Sorry.
that sucks.
But yeah, thoughts, opinions. Have you enjoyed yourself? Did you learn something?
Yeah, I feel like I learned stuff.
What did you learn?
I learned that, oh man, now you're putting the pressure on.
Pop quiz.
I learned that that not all things that are harmful to us are harmful to other things, like E. coli. Sheep can have E.
there
coli.
you go. Yeah.
That's good.
Well done.
And I learned that your gut decides whether you're happy or sad
No.
sometimes.
No.
Yeah.
It plays a role.
Maybe.
Yeah. If you have bad poop in you, then you're sad. That's the gist, I think. I
Yeah.
think that's the gist.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay, cool. Our work here is done.
Would you come back?
Of course, I'll always come back.
Great.
Cool.
Great. We'll,
Wait, what's the
we'll be in
next topic
touch.
going to be?
Whatever. Oh, actually, we've got. Stay tuned if you want to hear about some zebrafish.
Oh,
Our next episode is zebrafish.
do we have a science
and
guest?
yeah, because Silent Demalza won't be here next week.
So apologies if
She's going to be gallivanting around San Diego.
if it all goes
Lucky
to shit.
bitch.
So yes.
That's why we've got a science guest, because we need Demalza here with us when we're.
Who's the non-science guest?
She's bringing someone.
Oh, cool.
We need Silent Demalza here to keep us in check, but a science guest is usually much better than us. Right. Okay. Anyway, thank you for listening.
Thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're a pleasure.
Oh, cute.
If you would like to,
If you would like to follow us on Instagram or Twitter, you
our
can do that
Instagram
on,
is very active now,
because
as of tonight.
I got a new phone. Woo! So Instagram or Twitter on @LaidOutPodcast.
You can read our blog written by the lovely Sandra Demalza, although it's kind of behind, but it's okay because she's writing up her PhD right now. You can see it on layoutpodcast.wordpress.com.
And if you would like to get in touch, and what did I ask them to send us today? Oh! If you've had any nice conversations with any magpies recently and you'd like to tell us about it, you can email us on layoutpodcast at gmail.com.
Okay. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.